Anyway.
I think a cat is pooping.
Awesome.
I gotta figure out what to do with this cat. Welcome to another episode of Pajiba, the Pajiba television podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, are Pajiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Is the correct response. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Tori. That was not about you. That was me flubbing the intro after doing this 257 times, I want to say. And also with us is Orida, the Orida enthusiast, Dustin Rolls.
Sure. If it's all right, it's all right.
Is that their slogan?
Yes. The French fries?
The French fries?
Well, I know that they do potato products.
Yes.
I don't think it's just French fries.
Do you still read from a script, Dan?
Yes. How am I supposed to remember, the 12 words I have to say?
Do you print out a new script every week, or do you have the same one laminated to your desk?
No, I print out a new one every week, but that's because I put down time codes while we're going. So, so then it also becomes my editing notes later. I don't know if it's professional. I think it is a piece of paper that I print out and throw away every week.
Yeah, I would like it if you told us later. You're like, and I have a binder of all of our agendas. The official library of Pajiba.
But I don't think I've thrown away the Google Docs. I'll stash them in a folder, but I don't think I've ever actually deleted them. So probably have a bunch of those if we wanted to look at the agendas that don't really say anything. So there's very little.
And we don't stick to them, so they're not really helpful.
Yeah.
That's true, too. For example, here's one from June 13th, 2022. Let's see. We must have played some kind of game because there's a list of shows for some reason. We talked about Barry, The Boys. Oh, Tori's Kung Fu Corner was on.
Hey!
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel, a show I definitely remember existed.
Yeah.
Hey.
I never watched it. And Obi-Wan, which also, Obi-Wan was 3 years ago. That's insane.
I remember nothing about that show.
I think Ewan McGregor was in it.
Yes. That part
I
specifically remember bailing on the previously ons.
What?
Of the first episode, where they were explaining the backstory on whatever.
Oh, that they were explaining the prequels?
Yes, and I was like, I don't care. And I just bailed.
Bailed on those and then watched the show, or ended up bailing on all of it? It'd be great if you were like, I don't care about the previous one. Actually, I don't care about any of this.
There's a tech website that I like to read called 404 Media, which is all.
Oh, I know
it's
that.
basically the tech staff who used to be at Vice. But they also have a podcast, and I like listening to their podcast just because they go more in depth on the stories that they've reported and stuff. And they talk about, sometimes they talk about their process, and it's interesting. But they were talking about a Star Wars adjacent story. And in that story, they were talking about all of their relationships to Star Wars, the different reporters. And I was kind of stunned because I kind of would have assumed that there would be at least one hardcore Star Wars nerd in there. But the closest was one of them has seen all the movies. That's the most hardcore fan. And then one of them was I watched Empire Strikes Back on VHS a lot as a kid because we had just taped that off TV. And one of them said the prequels are great. And I was, loves the prequels more than it. I'm like, I know that's probably just an age thing. That's what you grew up with. But still, how are they all tech reporters? This doesn't make any sense to me. Wow. Also, I'm calling them out because I want beef. If we start a podcast beef, then
with
maybe
the 404 guys, yeah,
sure, why not? that'll definitely goose our numbers. Anyway, we're not a tech podcast. We talk about TV, kind of, and we talk about what we're drinking. So, Tori, what are you drinking?
I have a canned cocktail, vodka crush, blood orange mango flavor.
Very nice.
It's fine.
Before I say, I'm just going to mention that my daughter told me today that Tori and Dustin go off subject a lot, and Dan has to get stern, and he uses his annoyed voice to say this is not a movie podcast.
Dan is so stern.
I don't think I get stern. I think that's just what I sound like.
Also, sometimes I'm the one who says it, but yeah, that's fair. I like, Dan really has to like rope us in, keep us in check.
I do have the agenda printed out, so that is that's my only advantage.
I mowed the yard today, and for the first time since March 1st, I drank beer because it felt right because I mowed the yard. And then now I'm continuing. I'm having Allagash and Pacifico, and these are the leftover beers from the March 1st bat mitzvah.
Oh. Huh. I love Pacifico.
I do. Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like the Green River Mountain beer. It's just kind of nice.
God damn it, Dustin.
And refreshing, but not heavy. We could have too flavorful.
We could have had a moment, but you ruined it.
Yeah,
you ruined
Dustin, this is why no one wants to team up with you on games. Just so you know.
Okay.
I am drinking.
It's Green State Lager.
Yeah, Green State Lager. I'm drinking Modelo. It's nice. It's warm today. So.
Modelo are nice.
I thought you were going to say the beer's warm.
Oh, that would be
like it's nice. It's warm.
Enjoyable. It's like the tall baseball park one that at a ballpark is like $20, and at the grocery store it's like $3. So
it's a hell of a markup. Yeah.
It does taste better there though. Somehow.
Do you think people who go to baseball games are like, we're already used to tariffs? Like we've been paying it on hot dogs and beer for like ever.
Probably, but I wouldn't want to pay ballpark prices at home.
No, it's true.
That would be unfortunate. But not as unfortunate as what happened to Dustin's favorite survivor.
I know, right?
Oh.
No. I mean, I was... Yeah. It made sense.
By the end, you weren't rooting for him, were you?
There was a point where I stopped rooting for him, and then by the end, I was rooting for him again. Because then he felt a little like the underdog again.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I want him to win because now I know he's not going to.
Right.
I was just like, come on, Joe, you got to like say something now.
Oh,
there's something. You got to pull it out.
Do you think that was the edit, or did he just really flub the tribal or the jury?
He just a really bad tribal.
So, obviously, we're talking Survivor. The season 48 finale aired last week. Final tribal was Joe, Eva, and Kyle. They ended up getting Camilla out on fire at 4, and Kyle ended up winning. Was it 6-2? I think
so. Or
6-1. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Joe did get a vote.
5-1.
Joe did get a vote from Cedric. We'll get into that. But but the so it ended up, but Camilla ended up playing a kind of unsurprisingly a key role in that she was she helped kind of tee up Kyle at Final Tribal to get to explain why he deserved to win.
And their partnership specifically.
Yeah. So,
and she also had a great showing. Like because obviously the finale was 3 hours, and it starts when there are 5 players. Mitch gets voted out, but it's because Camilla won that last immunity challenge.
Right. And one that she was
really well.
Yeah, and she was last going into the puzzle. It was one of those where they have like 4 stages.
Yeah.
And
like way dead last.
Yeah.
She was dead last behind everyone and finally gets to the puzzle and just speeds through it and wins like handily. So it was a very satisfying win.
Yeah.
So it was sad to see her kind of go during Fire. But
Yeah.
But even during Fire, she was like losing and still helping, like still like morally supporting Eva. Like it was Camilla's just great.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. And it was nice to see her like do the same for Kyle, do exactly what you would think for like partners. Like, she had his back the whole way through.
Did you see why? Did you in the post interviews why she cramped up?
No.
Oh, she had. So apparently something was wrong with the well water. No. The people that were getting the well water or out of the well were like doing it wrong and getting everything dirty. Like, and so she was like, she didn't want to get sick, so she was limiting herself with the water, and then she got dehydrated during Fire and cramped up. And said she thinks that's why she just couldn't.
Just didn't do
it. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. But it, so, I mean, just to go through briefly, it was, Final Five. Once she won that immunity, it was pretty much everyone saying to Mitch that they were going to vote him out. And there was I guess there wasn't really any other plan there because he had because like they gave him kind of like the send off tribal edit where it's just about his experience basically.
Yeah. But it is also interesting because like, and again, at this point, I think they kind of already knew that like, I guess Joe is not really a threat, but it was another instance where like Joe was unprotected.
Right.
Eva would not have thought to play her idol. I mean, she did. Well, no, I guess in that one she did, but she played it for herself.
Yeah.
So like, they could have, if they wanted, tried to flip it, but they all kind of were like, we don't want to go against Mitch.
Yeah.
And that's really where I really, really understood that Joe is not a threat. I was like, Mitch is actually a bigger threat than Joe somehow.
Well, and that really makes me. So there was one other. I think they made this argument on the show as well. I mean, I know we've talked about it too, but that if they send Joe, then he's going to be talking up Eva, and so sending him to the jury could make it tougher. Like it could boost Eva more than them.
Right. Also, anyone sending him to get the votes, Kyle or like somebody was going to have to backstab him, and he would have been furious, and he would have tanked.
Right. I mean, you're sending someone who's definitely going to vote for Eva at that point. So
yeah.
But this kind of doesn't that kind of leads me also into the idea of like we didn't get to see that much of Joe's game, and I kind of feel like we ended up getting a little bit of a disservice because it felt like he was in control, and it felt like he was. I mean, he was obviously the most dominant at challenges, but because people were kind of bending toward his will, largely, at least earlier merge tribe, it just felt like we didn't really get to see why, and it was. I don't know. It made it tougher. I think that they kind of built a narrative around Joe and Eva and about their emotional bond, which is great. But that became that story rather than it being like, what is their actual like? It was like a personal story about them rather than what is their survivor story. Right. So, like as an example, like one small thing that came out in some of the interviews was that Star apparently like would leak stuff to Joe and Eva. And so like there's a point where when Star was still in that Mitch said, I can't trust Star. And we didn't know why. Like there was no real evidence for why. Apparently it's because he had told her stuff before and she had leaked it to Joe and Eva. And then he had to like do damage control after that.
Yeah.
So, but because we never got to see that and we never really understood how they were actually playing the game, that it, I don't know, it made some of those other moves harder to follow. And also we didn't get to see why they didn't think he was a threat. Because we didn't see, we didn't get to see what other people really thought of them, I guess.
Yeah, I do think like toward the end, I think because there's a moment where like Kyle and Camilla are both like, and Joe, I'm not really worried about him.
Yeah.
And I think that was clear to me just because it's like once they did the move about Shaheen, that was when they were like, Joe's not a threat because he has not done anything like we have.
Mm-hmm.
So like going to try, to me, it was just more like, A, we got this over on him, so he can't be that smart. And B, once we reveal it at Tribal, this is bigger than anything he's done.
Right.
So that at that point, once they kind of put those pieces together, it was like, yeah, I can see why they would want to make sure he's at Tribal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was smart to take for Eva to be there too. I mean, obviously that was up for fire, and like if Camilla had won, that would have been really hard between her and Kyle. But it was ideal to have Joe and Eva because then it becomes, which you could see the jury doing, like what have you guys are this pair, but what have you done separate from?
Right.
And as soon as Eva tried to describe, and Eva had a great showing at jury. Like I went from thinking she hadn't really done anything to being like, oh, I would vote for her over Joe any day.
Yeah.
But like once she got a chance to kind of talk up her game and she picked something around the Shaheen thing, and that's when Camilla's like mouthing to Kyle, I got you.
Yeah.
And then gives him the in to like explain exactly how wrong they are about what actually went down with Shaheen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could see in Joe's eyes, you could see he had knew at that point that he'd lost. He'd like, oh yeah, I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, no, like I got completely, they got it over on me, and it was smart because they did it in a way where like it was no blood on their hands. He had no idea,
right?
And so like they were able to. And Kyle still was like was up front with him, like made sure he brought him to, gave him the guaranteed spot going into the final three. Like, it was an interesting move on Kyle's part, like kind of backstabbing him in the sense of like lying, but like also like tanked his game, but also was like, you're my bro. I'm going to make sure you're there with me. You will have a shot.
Right.
It is so interesting how everyone who thinks they can get to the final three thinks that they can talk themselves into a win.
Yeah. And they can't all.
No.
Man, but also it was just, I mean, Camilla's win was the most satisfying, like her immunity win was most satisfying for me, but man, like it still felt like this is that season where everyone was really nice, and like Mitch going home and they're all being honest with him, and it's really kumbaya, even though he's heartbroken, but he understands. And like every step of the way, it was just Joe and Eva like, no, we're not going to talk crap about each other. We're not going to throw each other under the bus. We're just going to talk about ourselves. Everyone was just so nice. And the jury, I was waiting for the jury to come out swinging, and even David like revealed like, oh no, that face, like that was just an act. Like I'm totally happy for everyone. I was like, what? Everyone was too nice.
About David, was it an act, or was he realizing, like, were people telling him what he looked like?
Like, you look like a psycho.
Yeah. I don't, because I could kind of see either version.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
The reveal felt very fake in its own way. Like, like very, I mean, he was laughing very, yeah. Oh. So it's over, and we will not have Survivor to talk about again until fall, I guess. They don't come back in the summer, do they?
They don't. No. What will be coming on very soon-ish is Australian Survivor, Australia versus the World, which I think is premiering in Australia in maybe a few weeks, maybe a month. So,
and it's on YouTube.
Well, hopefully it'll be on YouTube. We'll see.
Oh yeah, God, I hope so.
But it'll be, I think, who's in the cast?
It's interesting that the last season of Australian Survivor sort of had a similar ending, and that it was like, well, not as much. It was much more stark. You had like a physically dominant player against like the guy that was like at the bottom and like strategically found his way to the final two. And he clearly, I don't think the other guy got a vote at any votes, even though he was like, he broke a record for most immunity wins.
Wow. He also, but in that one, he also had the he didn't do a great job of, at least based on edit, of really explaining his game. Beyond
his game is winning.
The problem was that there were moves that he could have tried to claim, and I think he didn't seem to do a very good job of it. But yeah, a lot of it was kind of hanging out, being in the middle, being everyone's buddy, and then winning challenges. So just for all of you and for the listeners who, so the Australia versus the world from the U.S. they have Suri, they have Parvati, and they have Tony. And then there are a couple others from other non-Australia, non-US seasons who I don't know because I've never seen those seasons. And then from Australia, if you've watched Australia at all, they have Kirby, who was one of the good players from a couple seasons ago. Shawnee and King George, who were both on Heroes versus Villains, they're going to be on there. And David Gannett, who has won Australian Survivor and also was on Deal or No Deal Island with Parvati, actually. So it'll be interesting to see that. I don't know which one's filmed first, so I'm curious how that works out. I'm assuming that this filmed second, because on Deal or No Deal Island, they knew who each other was, but they didn't act like they had just been on a game together.
Right.
King George may be my top 5 all-time Survivor players. I love that guy.
He is a character, and somehow does not get voted out immediately. But anyway, that's been Survivor. I feel bad for season 49 because, let's be honest, we're all waiting for 50. I mean, we will watch and cover season 49, but it's going to be tough to. I think, unless it ends up being a really great season just because of the people, which it could.
Yeah.
We're mostly just going to be waiting for season 50 and see who comes back.
No, they're announcing that on Wednesday.
Oh, so we're really not going to care about season 49.
I was going to say, so nobody from 49 has a shot at being in 50?
They could theoretically.
They probably have already taped 49. They said they tape them back to back, so they've seen them.
Yeah, right. So they could have had one person, like they did that before, where what's his name? Who is the real one of the best villains? And then his nephew was Russell. Oh, so Russell was on 19 and dominated and should have won, but he was too mean to everybody, so that's why he didn't win. He absolutely deserved to win based on how he played, but he stabbed so many people in the back that they were like, "We're not giving it. We're giving it to your partner."
They hated him,
even though you did. We know you did the work.
Yeah. Which is that's the other side of it. But,
but he was so good and so compelling. They put him on season 20, which was an all-star season, even though they had not seen. Nobody knew who he was. They just knew that he had just been on the previous season.
So I think he did well again, didn't he?
He did pretty well because nobody had seen his game, so nobody knew what to expect. Yeah. They could do it. I mean, obviously, if someone jumps out and is compelling, but it also kind of blows the season 49 a little bit, because then that person is at minimum compelling or probably does pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they film back to back might make it tough. Like, can you survive 2 of those in a row? I mean, I know that that's just one Australian season, but
that's tough.
I don't know. I mean, medically, I don't know if that's probably not advisable, or maybe your body's already used to it, so it's fine.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
Is there any player that you hope will be in 50 at this point?
The Alabama guy.
Hunter?
Yes, Hunter.
I was thinking about him too. I just want him to have another shot. He loves it so much.
I really hope that I want to see Carolyn again, even though she's just because of her. I feel like the new era people who didn't win, I want are all chaos people. I would watch her. I would watch Q. I'd watch Venus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of pre-40 people who I think I would enjoy. Um, I mean, look, Suri can go back anytime she wants, but I mean, I don't think she wants to anymore. Maybe, but who knows? I don't know. There's some pre-40 people who I think would be fun to see. I don't think they can. I guess he's not that old. I was gonna say Ozzy. He's like one of the. He's like
yeah.
He's not exciting is the problem, but he is arguably one of the better players to never win.
No, he was fantastic, and like he was a huge fan favorite, but he got, I don't know, everybody soured on him because he got really shitty near the end of the last season he did. I don't remember what happened.
Oh, did he? I don't know.
You were like, Ozzy.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, a lot of the people pre-40, I feel like have put that behind them. Like, like they're not, I mean, maybe they go to Survivor events or whatever, but they're not like.
I'd love to see Yule try to compete with like Chaos, but I don't think he would never come back for that.
I feel like the fact that Yule is also kind of, by all accounts, he seems like he's mostly outside of the ecosystem. Like he doesn't do a lot of the events except for like, it was kind of a surprise he went back for 40, I feel like.
Yeah.
I would like to see who was it that won that didn't catch a vote? He's kind of like the nerdy guy.
Who won?
He won.
Oh,
he won
the
a
nerdy guy.
Yeah.
I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, he was really fun. Yeah, I liked him a lot too.
He was a good player.
I want Charlie and Maria. Like I want Q. I want like I want the normal Chaos Demons, but I also I want to rehash the Chaos partnership.
Yeah.
What I don't want is Boston Rob, and he was inevitably going to be cast.
I don't know that they'll bring back Boston Rob at this point.
He seems
he's
like
doing every other game.
I know. God.
Would you want to see Coach again? I don't know if you do it.
No. Coach was a fun character once, and he's the reason why Rob won, because he had like this. Yeah. Wait, I don't even know. Is that the season that Rob won?
I think so.
Because he had this basket case basically running interference for him.
Yeah. Part of it is also that like I'm unfortunately mostly blanking on like most of the people I'm thinking of are winners. So I'm like, I don't know if they'd want to bring back a bunch of winners. But I don't know. I'd be interested, like based on who was at like season 40, who I really liked. I would be interested if they brought back like Sophie Clark, because she was playing a really good game at 40, except that she got blindsided with an idol. Like she was playing really well up until that point. She had a really good read. Or like Kim, who won One World, I think, and she was thought of as like one of the biggest threats in season 40.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, they should. I don't. She's probably not part of it. The awesome person that almost beat Parvati and then almost won again.
Amanda Kimmel.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's in the ecosystem anymore, but she played well. So I mean, it would be really well. It'd be fun to see her if she was interested. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm. It does feel tough because I think a lot of players that we would want to see are probably winners, and it's a little bit harder to justify. Also, a lot of them are a lot older, and I don't know if they want to go through that again.
It is weird though that they haven't. This is the longest I feel like in a long time they've gone without having anyone return. So since season 40, they haven't had any returning players.
Yeah.
So now it's time to bring back Liz.
Oh, I would watch Liz again.
I hated every second of her the first time, and then as soon as she was done, I was like, I miss you.
The real question is, Banu, yes or of course?
No, God.
But Dustin,
Jon Favreau.
John Favreau.
Oh God. No, they should have a season of like people
First
who
boot?
went out early. Yeah.
Or early boot.
Yeah. But not 50. 50
Oh,
and a half.
I would like to see
51 also ran.
I would like to see oh shoot, what are their names? They were a duo. The Canadian, was she a minister and she was evil? And then Ricard was her partner. And they had to turn on each other. I don't know. Anyway.
And bring back Mike White now that he's like super famous.
No, that's okay.
He was a fun player.
Yeah, I guess so. It's fine. Bring back. This is only because the season's been playing on the Survivor streaming channel. What's her name from Facts of Life? Who played Denise's season?
Oh, Lisa Welchel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
She
No
was
one
on
knew.
Survivor?
No one knew who she was, and then Penner outed her at Final Tribal and was like, "By the way, she's been on TV for like 20 years."
Penner's awesome too.
Penner had
He's
some
probably
health
70.
issues.
Yeah.
He's like in his 60s, but I think he had some health stuff. I didn't like Penner. Weirdly, I was always annoyed watching Penner, and I felt like I would be so annoyed if I was there with him. But by the end, I was like, all right, I like watching as a player though. What if one tribe has Jonathan and one tribe has who's the other like dominant physical threat? I don't know.
Joe.
You remember Jonathan, the guy who was so big that like he was carrying his entire team?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I do remember him. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was one challenge that he definitely just literally carried his team.
Yeah.
He was just huge.
He was just so much
And
bigger
a
than
super nice
else.
guy. Yeah.
But he can go up against David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David just flexing during all of the every challenge.
Anyway, that's Survivor. We'll be back to it in the fall.
You said you wanted to circle back about Cedric and his single vote for Joe.
Right. So Cedric says that he voted for Joe because he's a dad, and that resonated with him somehow. I don't know. It just constantly remains a reminder that Cedric,
poor Cedric,
he just does his own thing, and he's like, that's what he's always done, and it doesn't seem. Obviously, there's no strategy to voting. You can vote for whoever you want for whatever reason, but it's just a constant reminder that like his brain is always going in a different direction than everybody else, which is fascinating. But I can't imagine it would have been easy to play with him. I mean, to be in like an alliance with him.
Was he ever? Well, was he ever really in an alliance with anyone?
Well, Justin was his number one technically.
Oh yeah.
Then he
but
voted
then,
him out.
Sort of.
But Cedric, although she didn't trust him at all, but Cedric, like, wasn't he on the wrong side of every single vote?
Largely.
Like, he never knew what was actually going on. And obviously, by the time you're at the jury, it's like the final tribal. It's not really about being on the wrong side of the vote. You can go for whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was really like interesting. That's not even about him going his own direction. To me, it was just like, oh, you remain so boring. Like just the most boring decision.
When they went to final, before they gave the speeches, I started counting votes. I was like on the jury, and to me, I was like, okay, Joe's not going to win. He's got one, maybe two votes. Definitely Cedric, and that's it. And then I thought maybe Christy. Chrissy, yeah.
No way.
I thought
not based
maybe.
On based on her question even.
No, she hated. She was always anti-strong alliance.
Mm-hmm.
she was looking for anyone to puncture that. So I was like, she'll go Kyle, because he did. His game was ultimately not about strength, which was all she wanted.
Yeah, it felt like it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say after the fact, and after even after seeing Final Tribal, but it was pretty clear. It felt pretty clear that it was going to be Chrissy, Shaheen, and Camilla were all Kyle votes. So then it's really like, could he get at least one more or two? And he ended up getting those. But
yeah,
I don't understand Star's vote, but I don't know. Star also kind of does her own
thing.
Yeah, Star definitely is just. I could not predict, would not bother predicting.
Yeah.
But speaking of predictions, Tori predicted The Last of Us. Basically, next season. Okay. Well done.
So, yeah, but to be clear.
That was my favorite part of the episode. Is like, oh, Tori's right.
Yeah. So, I do feel like I need to. I am pretty proud of that, but it's just the plot of the game. Like, I think what's surprising was that the show, and when I was writing it, I was like, this is how you would do it. I wasn't even writing like, this is how I hope they do it. It's like, I was looking at how the game unfolds, and I'm like, okay, well, 2 episodes ago, like when we knew there were 2 episodes left in the season, one of them was going to be a flashback. I'm like, okay, well, given the amount of runtime there is left, seems like this is where they're going to end the season, which makes sense if you're going to do a 3rd season as all Abby. But up until that point, I genuinely wasn't sure if the show would do that or if they would try to alternate episodes, one Ellie, one Abby, like whatever. Because it's a really weird thing. Like, I think the game is really well structured, but it's a risky thing for a show to not just kill your most bankable star in the 2nd episode of the 2nd season, but then commit to likely dropping the lead who's been with you for 2 seasons for the 3rd season. And not getting rid of her entirely, but like, if they really do an Abby season the way I think they will, you're not going to see you're not really going to have her encounter Ellie again until the next season finale to get resolution on the season 2 finale. They might not, like, they might go long. I could see them kind of deciding to do a 10-episode season and doing like 5 episodes of Abby, and then bring Ellie in and start alternating or something. But like, I pretty much think they're probably going to do.
When they said there was going to be a 4th season, that's definitely the start that they're going to do.
Yeah, Abby, they're going to do.
They'll put them together Abby for the 4th. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, for me, it was just more like, the prediction was just like,
unless
are they actually going to do the game?
Abby shot Ellie at the end, and then at the end of the 3rd season, we see her shoot Ellie, and then it's over. It would be the worst ending ever.
That would be, well, if the ratings keep going down, HBO may be like, okay, just finish it up. Like, let's just. But yeah, I mean, I think like, so I personally, that was where I was just surprised, was like, I was writing the whole thing assuming that like, there's no way the show would actually be that faithful. And now, like, as it keeps going, I'm like, oh, they might do it. I'm impressed.
The downside is there was no resolution to the season.
There was no resolution. And I keep getting mixed messages on, like, I could have sworn I read somewhere that they're not even going to start shooting season 3 until next year. But then I heard they're going into production in June. So I'm like, is it going to air next year, or are they not even shooting it till next year? Like, what is it? Because if you're going to make us wait, because it was 2 years between the 2 seasons, right? If you're going to wait us wait another 2 years and then have to wait through that entire season once it starts airing to figure out what happened to Ellie, that's going to be bonkers.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have filmed them at the same time. Since
they should have.
They had separate people going. Yeah. It wouldn't have been hard.
Based on like some of the behind the scenes stuff around like what it took to shoot, especially in the finale, like all the water work, I'm like, you don't want to shoot these at the same time. But I could see that you're doing more back to back than that. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a really good finale. I thought it was nice that the things that they seeded in that like about Abby, like, the questions we should we'll expect to see answered, like what she was up to during this whole time. Because I feel like we haven't really had to ask that question this season. Like there hasn't been a whole lot of like, Ellie's been looking for Abby, but there hasn't been really hints about what she was up to. And this season, the finale finally was like giving you little bits of information that were hinting at like, oh, she had a falling out with Isaac, or oh, she's got these friends and something went down and they're talking about her. And like, so it was nice to finally like start giving you questions that like, oh, you start realizing that there is a story to be told about what she's been up to. But now you got to wait and keep those things in your head.
Right. But it does mean a lot more Jeffrey Wright next season.
Yes, it should be a lot more Jeffrey Wright. And a lot more of all of the actors who were hired as her friends. Like, I think we will see, Tati Gabriel again. We're going to see, like, because her friend, we're going to go back 3 days, start over. So.
And watch this characters get killed again.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
Like, because that was the other thing. It was like, we've barely seen her. She popped up in the last, right at the end of the finale. So it's like, oh, it would be really nice to like finally get to watch her in action.
But like, consolation prize of Caitlin Deaver, Jeffrey Wright season. It's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad at all. So it didn't occur to me until after the finale, and I forgot to mention in the recap, but like, not a whole lot of infected this season.
No, there wasn't.
There was the big horde. Yeah. There was the basement. There were a couple of little like, Ellie and Dina went into that store in the first episode, the smart ones. But not a whole lot of infected. It was pretty much all factions of humans fighting.
See, the real horror is humanity.
Those fucking Seraphinas? Is that what it was?
Seraphites. Yeah,
Seraphites. Jesus Christ. Those are fucked up people.
Yeah. And I want to know what was going on that island.
Yeah. No, not The Walking Dead. I'm still watching The Walking Dead, and it's shit.
Which one are you watching? Like, which Walking Dead?
Is there a Walking Dead on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead City. The Negan one. Negan and Maggie.
Oh, you're still watching it.
Yeah. And like, it's a Negan and Maggie show, except that the whole season they're separated. Well, they were separated. So you're like, great. Now we get to see them in different parts. It sucks. Just sucks. I mean, if you're going to do a Negan and Maggie show, at least let us see them together.
Given the fact that we're recording this on Memorial Day, I feel like I need to thank you for your service, Dustin. Thank you for continuing to watch The Walking Dead in all of its many iterations.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Last of Us over. Very curious what the final ratings end up being.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mike sent me an article, and it's basically like it's down. It has been trending downward, but also per episode doing better than the first season. So I don't know what that nets out to be. But like the finale of the first season was huge. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the finale of the season was anywhere near that. But overall,
it is not in the Nielsen top 10. And it would have been. Wait, that can't be right. Maybe HBO doesn't do the Nielsen. Maybe they haven't opted in.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Because like the Wheel of Time is on the top 10.
Are you looking at a streaming chart?
That just got canceled, yeah.
Oh, that is the streaming. Oh, so it would be cable?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Cable.
HBO is cable.
Well, they don't. I mean, cable's just the Fox News shows.
This is compelling podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we.
Anyway,
we'll deal with this later.
Yeah, Last of Us is over. Congratulations to Tori and Dustin for finishing another season.
But speaking of predictions, Dustin.
Yes.
You wrote a pretty interesting thing about where you think Hacks is going next season.
Oh, I did, but that's based on. Did you watch the episode?
No, not yet. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm catching
I did.
up.
I actually watched it.
I have been reading your pieces, so it doesn't matter. Just tell
Oh, okay. Well, just at the end of this episode, really came out of nowhere. After Deborah got number one on a late night, there was a whole kerfuffle with the president of the studio, and she quit.
Yeah.
She quit instead of firing Ava. She quit, and at the end, the president of the studio was like, "You are under a non-compete, and you can't do anything. You can't appear in front of a camera for 18 months." So I think the next season will be Ava's turn to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That makes sense for the last season.
Yeah. That is the kind of revolution that I could see them going for. And like all the stuff with the magazine cover this season and stuff like that. Like Ava's already starting to like get a bit more spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch that season. I would love to see what Deborah does when she's not allowed to be the star.
Right.
And have to use her talent.
Tense episode, though.
Yeah.
Dustin, did you like this speech better or the Judd Hirsch speech from the start of Studio 60? That's all I was thinking when I was watching it. I mean, it was good. But I was like, oh, they're doing Studio 60 now.
Oh, well, fair. Okay.
They're giving an impassioned speech about the state of the television world while some network suit tries to cut the air.
That is true. Yeah, all right. Nothing's changed in 15 years, I want to say.
Almost 20. That show premiered in 2006.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
It was the behind the scenes show that was supposed to be a huge hit and not that weird comedy that Tina Fey is doing.
Right.
But
didn't work out.
That's right. And
maybe it was 2007, but I'm pretty sure it's 2006. Now I need to look it up, but I'm 90% sure.
Both were great shows, though, Dan.
I weirdly defend Studio 60, even though people are like, this show is unhinged. In part because it is easier to defend after the newsroom, because the newsroom was so much more unhinged than Studio 60 was.
Yeah.
I think Studio 60 was, admittedly, it was like I didn't. What's the way to put it? I did not. A lot of people were mad at the show because they said the sketches are not funny, which they weren't. And like, I did not care about that personally because that was never the point of it. I think I will say that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel did show at least a little bit a sense of like, oh, like they hired stand-ups to be on their staff to like help write stand-up bits. So like, it's not, whether you like her stand-up on that show or not, it at least is like well crafted.
Right.
Versus like here, it's clearly the sketches are not particularly well crafted. But I think Studio 60 as like a workplace drama generally did fine. I think the thing that people forget is that he knew it was being canceled, and so he crammed like 3 seasons of specifically of like romance subplot into the back half of the season. So everything is so compressed because it wasn't supposed to happen in one season. Like all of that happened very quickly. So,
but it really was one of my favorite pilots ever, though.
Still
it was a good pilot, but he also bring up a good point. Like I think it was obviously barring the finding out it was getting canceled and having to compress the arc that he wanted to tell. It was the workplace show that he wanted to tell. It just wasn't the show that the audience wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And I think it does come down to the humor. Because I remember watching and being like, it's a good pilot. It's not a bad show. Mm-hmm. It's just, if I'm watching the behind the scenes of a sketch show, like I want it to be funny.
Right.
I know it's going to be drama because these things are like, there is always drama underpinning the comedy, but like there should be more humor.
Well,
and
weirdly,
that was,
but weirdly, 30 Rock managed to sidestep that more by, like, they didn't they showed less sketch material. I mean, they would make jokes of it, but they never actually like, or they I feel like on average they showed fewer sketches.
I think that's true. It wasn't, you actually saw very little of what the show itself was.
Yeah.
It just had this almost like Family Guy sensibility of like random asides and like lots of things going, like, you know, flashbacks and, you know, they did other things. But now I'm curious, because obviously Hacks has like long, lengthy stand-up comedy moments. Like, is it because Hannah Einbinder, is she also helping write, or like who's helping craft the stand-up? Because they'll have I mean, like, it's not just Deborah. Like they have, they'll have bits with other stand-ups periodically.
Right. Well, they have Joe Mandy's on the staff, he's done a lot of stand-up. Okay. Guy Branum has done stand-up. I'm just looking at the writing staff now. There are definitely stand-ups on this writing staff. Like, it's not all stand-ups, but there are definitely enough that, you know, can help craft that material and like understand that world in a way. Again, like, for all the however you feel about Aaron Sorkin as a writer, good or bad, like, it's not he is not of the sketch comedy world.
Right.
So
I would never go to him
personal experience.
Yeah, I would never go to him to craft a sketch.
Yeah. Whereas all of these maybe not most, but like many of the writers on the Hack staff, you know, have done sketch, have done stand up, on top of being comedy writers for TV.
Yeah.
Oh no. I just turned on a fan by accident.
Oh.
And now it's off. Don't worry about it. Anyway, it would be great if that was the end of the show, but that's not.
I mean, it could
I was just going to say, speaking of stand-up, Sarah Silverman's not great. Her new special. Just put that out there.
Dustin hates women.
Dustin hates women.
The whole special was about the death of her parents, which you would think it's hard to criticize that because it's about her parents, but it's like...
But Dustin, powering through, finding a way to criticize.
It's like she loved her parents and she speaks highly of her parents, and the whole show is about how much she loved them and how great they were to her. But like, I think they were interesting to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not to a general audience.
Well, Dustin, I would love to see, as a comedy editor, I will assign you a piece to talk about this special and specifically compare it to your experience at the main Miss Maine pageant where Bill Belichick and his maybe fiance were rumored to have been in attendance. We don't know because you haven't filed your report yet.
Right.
See, this is what happens when Dan decides to start, like, you know, cracking down on us with his authoritarian.
I was told that I am the comedy editor, which means I get to assign things, I guess. I don't know.
You
yes.
do.
Everybody's Live is still good, by the way, if you're watching. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. I believe this week is the season finale. He will be fighting 3 teenagers, supposedly.
Okay.
So
good.
We'll see how that goes.
For that.
We'll see what they do.
I'm so invested in that. I hope that happens.
A cat is walking on my keyboard. He just typed qua. I don't know what that means. But we will. We should get to Sirens, which I have heard people talk about. I don't know what it is. I know it's on Netflix. Dustin, please tell us about Sirens.
Oh.
It's got Glenn Howerton. That's all I know. It does have
Glenn Howerton. It's Julianne Moore and Megan Fahey.
Yeah. And Millie Alcock, right?
Yes. Millie Alcock plays the assistant to Julianne Moore, who's like this rich lady who's married to Kevin Bacon's character, who's like the rich guy. And she's sort of a tyrant. and Megan Fahey is like the white trash sister, and she comes to the island for various reasons and gets stuck there for various reasons and sort of upsets the whole equilibrium of the place. And it's enjoyable.
Is it a drama, a comedy?
It's a drama.
Okay.
Yeah, it's it feels sort of like one of those rich people dramas.
Like Little White Lie. No, Big Little Lies.
Yeah, sort of like that. There are no murders.
Oh.
Though it felt like there would be at a couple of times, but there weren't. So it's not like a mystery thing.
Oh, okay.
But it has a really good arc. And it's only 5 episodes, and they're very quick-moving, fun 5.
Who does Glenn Howerton play?
He plays the rich douchebag boyfriend of the assistant.
Of Millie Alcock?
Yes. Okay. It makes more sense in the context because she is someone who also comes from a white trash background.
Right.
And she went to Yale, and now she's just trying to sort of fit in and sort of, to become part of this world.
Right. So she dates a guy who is like 20 years
in this world. Right.
Senior.
Yes. And that's, yes.
Is he playing someone that much older than her, or are they kind of just paying? Okay, it is very intentional, like he is that much older. Okay.
Yes. And I'm not going to spoil it, but there is like some stuff going on between Millie Alcock's character and Kevin Bacon as well.
Oh.
So it is very much.
Yeah. Is there anything going on between Kevin Bacon and Glenn Howerton? Can we make a perfect
They're
triangle?
Best friends, but no, not sexually.
I would enjoy them being best friends.
Yeah, they don't interact too much.
Oh.
But they do a little. I mean, Glenn Howerton's not actually in it that much.
Well, that's disappointing.
It is a little disappointing, but the cast is so good that it's okay. I mean, that's a really good cast.
It is a really good cast. I will give you that.
But it's mostly Millie and Megan Fahey, and Julianne Moore.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll check it out. But it's definitely
worth watching if you're into that sort of thing. It's not really your sort of thing. Did you like White Lotus? Did you love White Lotus? Is that your sort of thing?
Me?
Yeah.
I've never seen the White Lotus.
No, you're not really into rich people dramas.
That's not true.
No? Did you watch anything on Hulu in the last year?
I remember watching the first season of 9 Perfect Strangers.
Okay, and that was terrible.
It was real bad.
A bad example. Yeah,
it was real bad. I only watched it for Manny Jacinto.
Okay, yeah. Basically, Julianne Moore could have been played by Nicole Kidman, and I'm sure that she wasn't because Nicole Kidman was too busy playing the same character in every other show.
Well, but she was in that other show that was also on Netflix with the intro where they all dance.
She dances.
This was like a huge show, like maybe 2 months ago. I didn't watch it.
And yet,
Pachinko.
No, gosh.
No.
Oh
my God! You said they all dance in the intro.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Oh.
Hold on. This is insane. How are we? The Perfect Couple?
Oh yeah. It's a show like that, except no murder. Perfect Couple had murder.
Okay.
They usually do.
How did I? But this is the thing about the Netflix shows. Nobody they have no.
Yeah.
They're not
no
sticky.
No. And Sirens, no one. I won't remember it in 3 months.
It's no Rivals. See, rich people. I watched Rivals.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you ever watch Rivals?
It yet. I watched half of it.
It's good though, right?
Yeah,
You're
it
like
is really good, and I will finish it.
Yeah,
but I kind of want to wait till it's closer to the second season to finish it.
Oh, so you remember? No, oh my god, no, because you have to get to. Oh my god, no, Dustin, just watch it. You can rewatch the finale close to the second season, but I need you to get to the end of the season.
Okay, fine.
There's a great cliffhanger. Also,
but that doesn't. That
you
is
deserve
in the same...
Aiden Turner's mustache in your life.
Oh yeah, okay, fair. The tone of that show is different from most of these shows, which are very glossy
it's more of a Melrose Place, like late night soap opera kind of thing, like primetime soap opera, with cocaine. I love that show. I don't know if there's been a show I've enjoyed that much, just unexpectedly, purely, just, man, that was my show. That was so good.
All right, well, I'll finish it. After I finish...
You like Friendship. Just trust me.
I loved Friendship.
Yes.
Loved Friendship.
This is very different than Friendship, I will admit. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Look, we did an hour.
Show. We did it. We did an hour. We managed to do it.
Pinecone made an appearance.
Pinecone made an appearance. He's now cleaning himself on the floor. We'll be back. Yeah, that's it. We'll be back next week with more TV. I don't know what's coming up next. Is there any...
The Better Sister.
TV? I don't know what that is.
Better Sister.
Yeah, it comes out on Thursday, and it's really good. It's based on a novel. It does not star Nicole Kidman, but it does star Elizabeth Banks and Jessica Biel.
Oh. Okay.
It's really good, and the novel is really good. It's a murder mystery, like a really good murder mystery.
It's got Corey Stoll.
Yeah, well, he's the guy that gets killed, so he's not in it too much.
Andrew Koji all over again. I'm never going to forgive that show. Okay, that's fine. What else? Oh, and pretty soon we're going to have to come up with our Mr. Show rewatch because, there's no Survivor on.
Oh, I thought it was Outer Banks that we decided on. No. And that's why I watched 3 seasons so far.
That was your extra credit. You do that because you love your kids.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
But nice now that we know that your kids listen to the podcast, maybe we can turn this into an educational series on why they should get into classic late 90s sketch comedy.
Oh.
I can't see that happening, but sure.
We'll make sure we start off with the Jack Black episode. Kids love Jack Black.
That's true.
They really do.
When
the star
of
Minecraft.
Especially when he's performing a musical version of the "Don't stick your dick in this hole" joke. You'll see. It's going to be great.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. All of that and more in the future of Pod Jiba. Maybe next week, probably not, but it's coming up. Anyway, have a good night.
Good night, everybody. A long time ago, we used to be friends. That's such a good song.